For Linton, the alleged reputed leader of the Dog Paw Gang had his 2013 conviction overturned in the Court of Appeal today. Linton was convicted along with his co-accused Micah Allen and sentenced to 15 years. Our reporter Giovanni Dennis was outside the Horizon Adult Remand Center when Linton walked out to a waiting entourage.
5:05 p.m. Wednesday, April 14. One of three waiting vehicles for Christopher Dogpaw Linton. A relative collects personal belongings and discusses traveling arrangements with the reputed gang leader. His entourage moved quickly, shutting down the possibility of an interview. How you feel about being free?
Freedom is a must. I'm just grateful for this. Tomorrow.
Dogpaw gained notoriety when he became Jamaica's most wanted between 2010 and 2011 before he was arrested. He was convicted along with his co-accused Micah Allen in 2013 for shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearm. Prosecutors argued the men shot at police in April 2010 in St. Andrew. Patrick Peterkin represented Micah Allen at the appeal hearing.
Two police officers stated that they were driving through Tavern Drive sometime after 9 in the night. They indicated that when they reached at a section of that road, they were shot at by two men in a group of four who ran down a lane after firing shots at them. And the police said that they also, one of the police officers fired back at them. Amongst the group, they said that they identified Linton as one of the men, and Michael Allen went on an ID parade, and he was pointed out as being one of the men.
They were each sentenced to 15 years in prison for illegal possession of firearm and 15 years for shooting with intent. The defense team's argument hinged on how the men were identified, insisting the evidence was unreliable. The appeal court sided with them.
You're talking about after 9 in the night, to deal with the issue of time as to whether or
time
not
that they observed the men.
And you're also talking about the issue of being shot at, and police also have to basically be taking certain evasive action in that moment. And then the question will arise in all the circumstances, whether or not a safe identification, safe meaning for the courts, can take place in circumstances like that.
When our news team contacted Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn, she said she had no comment on the ruling. The response was the same when we contacted the JCF. Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
A mother is this evening seeking assistance for her son who was shot and injured 2 weeks ago in Manchester. The 16-year-old remains in hospital in critical condition as a result of the bullet lodged in his neck. He was shot while trying to escape a gunman's fury at a shop in Newhall District. Anthony Lugg has the details.
Please, I'm asking you guys to help this little young man to get back on his feet, to go and achieve his goal.
A desperate plea from Kadeen Wilson Blair for assistance for her son. The mother now clings on to a photo of Neshawn Blair because for the last 2 weeks, she's only been able to do so when she visits him in hospital during the week. The teen was shot on his 16th birthday as he stood outside this shop in Newhall District in Manchester when a lone gunman carried out an attack. His mother was at work when she got the news, and though she's thankful that her son is still alive, seeing him unable to move on the hospital bed is a painful sight.
I cry night, I cry day, but God is in the midst, and I know God is going to help me through for my son to walk.
It's understood that the bullet is still lodged inside his neck, and what she has been told by the doctors has heightened her fears.
We spoke to the doctors about it. They're saying that they're not going to remove the bullet, right? But you know, I'm seeking some assistance for him to go overseas to to get some proper treatment, proper health, and, to give him back his life.
But despite the pain and the fact that Nashawn is unable to move parts of his body, Mrs. Wilson Blair says he remains hopeful.
He said that he's going to come back out, play back his football, because that's his dream, to play football. And he attended Mayday High School. And he tell his friend that he's coming back out to go to school September morning.
It's why the family is appealing for the public's assistance. A GoFundMe account has already been set up to raise some $70,000 to seek medical assistance overseas for Nashawn.
I'm calling out for assistance for my son, Nashawn Blair. He's just 16 years old. He's an innocent child, manners of a child, respectful child, everything you can think of this child.
Anthony Lug, TVJ News.
Welcome back to Primetime News. Thanks for staying with us. To a story now on life inside the COVID-19 ward, as recounted by a former patient. She describes the experience as horrifying and suggests it has impacted her psychologically. Shamela Pullen has her story.
Tamisha Griffiths is having sleepless nights. It's been 2 weeks since her release from the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI COVID's ward. But the experience will forever be etched in her memory.
That's one word, hell. People are dying at UA. It's no joke. It's no joke. Like, someone will come in today and 2 days later they're dead. People are dying, and it's COVID. So it's real. It is real.
Ms. Griffith spent 8 days on the COVID ward, and while she was there, she said at least 8 people died.
I would wish this on my enemy. You don't want to fall asleep with a dead body beside you and know that that person died from the same virus that you have. It was so traumatizing. They came for the body and they just put it in that can and they just push it, and then you see them clean the bed off again and then bed ready again for our next patient.
Which one traumatized you the most?
The one that the doctor was trying to save the lady in front of me. And I was actually sitting up in the bed. Well, they did block the area off, but I can't really see because there's a space there, and I could see him trying to resuscitate the patient, and he was there like for a good 45 minutes trying until both of them turned to each other and just shake their head, and I was like, oh my God, she gone.
She is now having nightmares.
Well, I couldn't turn the light off. I mean, like, I still hear them pulling the thing, talk in my sleep. Even though sometimes I just find myself trembling. Sometimes I still have shortness of breath. Sometimes my heart still races. But I'm doing a little counseling now.
Ms. Griffiths appeals to people to take the virus seriously.
The party thing, at least try. Just give it a break. Just take a break from the party, because trust me, it's better to have life right now than to keep going out to party and gallivant. It don't make no sense at all. And then you have persons outside with the virus and know that they have the virus and they're still going to party, and it's not fair. It is not fair. I don't know how I catch it, but I have it.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
263 new cases of the coronavirus were recorded on Sunday from 971 tests. The number of confirmed cases now stands at 42,763. Meanwhile, 4 more Jamaicans have died from COVID-19. This brings the country's death toll to 676. 405 people have been hospitalized due to the respiratory illness. Of that, 49 are critically ill, while 30 are moderately ill. There are now 22,769 active cases.
Welcome back to Primetime News and a special welcome once again to our viewers on onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, we begin with a Primetime News follow-up. Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Central, George Wright, was questioned today by the police in relation to a video in which a man is seen assaulting a woman. The Hanover police have also made contact with the woman seen in the video. Investigators told our news center that she will also be questioned. Mr. Wright and the woman reportedly filed complaints with the police on April 6, the date of the reported incident. The Central Westmoreland MP is being represented by Abel Foote, who spoke with our news team this evening at the Freeport Police Station in Montego Bay, St. James, where his client turned himself in.
I don't have much to comment or say at this time. All I will say is that Mr. George Wright willfully came into the police. He was questioned and released without charge. And that is all we have to say for right now.
In the meantime, a man who said he's a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party turned up at the Freeport Police Station. The man with a bell in hand stood alone as Mr. Wright was being questioned by the police. He said he was standing in solidarity with the MP.
I'm here to support Mr. Wright 100%. Because I know him as a businessman and I don't know him as that type of person. As a labourite to a labourite, I have to give him 100% support. Because I know for sure that Mr. Wright is not that type of person. Anybody can pass any form of allegation against Mr. Wright because he's a labourite. So I understand that. So I am here today supporting Mr. Wright.
Up first this evening, while St. Vincent continues to be impacted by the volcanic eruptions from the La Soufrière volcano, other Caribbean islands are also being affected. In Barbados, the Grantley Adams International Airport has been ordered closed until 6 tomorrow morning because of the ashfall. This is not a snowstorm, but ash emanating from the La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines Friday night. This photograph from the UWI Seismic Research Center shows lightning from what it says is the ash column due to the volcano's highly charged nature. The volcano erupted for a fourth time around 5 a.m. Saturday, with a thick plume of ash now affecting neighboring islands, including St. Lucia and Barbados. The Barbados Met Service has since issued a severe volcanic ash and small craft warning for its citizens. Back in St. Vincent,
I'm actually fighting to face northwards. It's just a rapid flow of ash heading our way.
You know, whenever you go outside the vehicle, it's just really scary out there. I'm not a excuse me, a scaredy cat or anything like that, but the feel is something that like what you see in a end time movie.
And already there's been damage to property. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves gave the confirmation as he spoke with residents Saturday.
The weight of this and the nature of this, mashing up houses already, you know, crashing the roofs, crashing the windows and doors. They're getting inside of the houses. It's a very serious problem. And the cleaning up of this alone is going to be massive.
In addition to the explosions, seismic activity has also increased. There have been reports of several tremors. The UWI Seismic Research Center says the volcano continues to be in an explosive phase that may last several days to weeks.
And we don't know how long this spewing is going to take place. The seismologists don't know, in fact, what the work they're doing. They're collecting samples. And through their testing, they're going to be able to give us some indication as to what do they think. Of course, it's not a precise science when you're doing these prognoses.
More than 15,000 people have been evacuated from communities close to the Vincent Volcano, but despite repeated warnings, several people remain. The government says it will continue to make arrangements for them to be taken to safer ground.